Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please make sure to subscribe, make sure to click that notification bell so that you do not miss out on any of the videos that I have coming up. If you are coming back, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. And today on this video, I'll be showing you basic eyeshadow tutorial. These are the basics of eyeshadow application, so it's all the tips and tricks for you beginners to be able to know how to apply eyeshadow. Let's get into the video, guys. Firstly, what you want to do is apply an eyeshadow primer. You want to prime your eyes. You can use an eyeshadow primer or you can use a concealer that is 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. And this is what I normally use. I normally use a concealer. And the reason why you want to prime your eyes is because it allows the eyeshadow to apply smoothly and also last longer. The color payoff of your shadows on top of a primer is much more nicer than just you going bare on your eye. So what I use to prime my eyes is a concealer, and I use this one from LA Girl, the Pro Conceal in the color Toffee. This is the one that is 2 shades lighter than my skin tone. I like applying it at the back of my hand first, and then I apply it on my lid.
I use this big dense brush to smooth out the concealer on my lid, and I also like to take the concealer on the bridge of my nose.
If you are using a concealer to prime your eyes, what I like doing is then set the concealer with a translucent powder, and the one that I'm using is the one from Laura Mercier. Now we're going to move on to the eyeshadow, and the palettes that I'll be using for this video is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. You can use any palettes that you have at home, and what you want to start off with is a transition shade, and the transition shade is just a lighter shade on the shade range that you are working with. So if you're working with browns, your transition shade will then be a lighter brown. That's the color that you're starting off with. The purpose for the transition shade is to help you blend out and also just gives dimension to your makeup look. The first color that I start off with is this color.
For my transition shade, I'll be using this big fluffy brush. You want a brush that is big and fluffy and that's quite flexible so that it gives you a nice blend.
So what I like doing, once I have applied the color on the brush, I like to tap off the excess so that there is no fallout. I do recommend that you do your eyeshadow first before doing your face, especially if you are a beginner, because that will avoid you having fallout on your foundation.
I'm applying this color right below the brow bone. I am tapping it on and also using windshield wiper motion to apply it. What's also important is how you are holding your brush. For your transition shade, you want to hold the brush at the middle towards the end so that you have an even application. We then move on to the second transition shade. I will now be using a smaller blending brush compared to the first one that I used. So as you move on to the darker shade and towards the lid, you want to also go down on your brush size. Always tap off the excess and apply this color right below the first transition shade, starting from the outer corner of the lid, moving on to the inner corner of the lid. And what you want to do, you want to start off small. You don't want to start off with a great amount of pigment. You want to start off with a small pigment, and if you're looking for a more intense look, then you want to add on, because it's very difficult to blend once you've started off with a lot of pigment.
So what is key is that you keep blending between the 2 colors, because you don't want to see the line of demarcation between your shadows. You want your shadows to have dimension, however you want them to be blended together and also see the dimension from lighter to dark.
I then move on to this dark brown as a crease color. For the crease color, I hold the brush closer to the bristles so that I have more control as to where the shadow is applied. I applied the shadow on the outer corner, the outer V of my crease.
Making sure that the most color is concentrated here on the crease, on the outer part of the crease, and the outer V. Once most color is applied, I then drag it
towards the inner corner. After I'm done applying the crease color, I go back to the transition shades that I used before just to make sure that they are still visible and to blend out any harsh lines.
Now I move on to the lid, and the color that I apply on the lid is a shimmery shade. I use this gold shade on the lid, and the shimmery shades, you want to keep the shimmery shades on the lid.
This is the brush that I use to apply my lid shadow. You want something that's flat, that's going to give you precision when you're applying your lid shadow. You do not want something that's big and fluffy.
And I tap this color on the lid. So just the tip for people with hooded eyes like myself, you want to blow out the color past your natural lid so that your eyes appear to be bigger. For your lid, you can also use your hands. You can just apply the shadow with your hands. If you feel that your hands are big, you don't have the nice precision that you're looking for, then you can go back to the brush. Once I have my lid color, I want to go back and blend out and just make sure that there is no harsh line in between the colors that I have applied. Next step on your eyeshadow look is your lower lash line. And with your lower lash line, you want to apply your eyeshadow from dark to light. So when you are applying it on your eyelid, you started on the light to dark, but then on the lower lash line, you want to start from dark to light. The darker color will be closer to your lash line, and then you'll move on to the lighter colors. And you can even connect it to the color on your lid. And then from there, I move on to the lighter color. And you don't want to drag the colors down. You want to just keep them on your lash, on your lower lash line. Just smoking it out. Lastly, I use the transition shade just to make sure that everything is blended.
I then move on to the inner corner highlight.
I just use a tiny bit of this on my inner corner to brighten up my eye. It gives you more of a look that you are more awake, and it gives an illusion that your eyes are bigger. Keeping it on the inner corner. For me, inner corner highlight just gives that bright look, you know. For me, it's everything, and it's a must that I do my inner corner highlights with every eyeshadow that I do. We've now come to the end of the video. I just apply some lashes and I put on a little bit of liner, and that's it. So this is the basics of the eyeshadow. I hope that you guys learned a thing or two from this video. Please make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you click on that notification bell so that you get notified when I upload a video. Like this video, comment, share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Just before you go, one thing I want to leave you with is that practice makes perfect. So you learn from a YouTube video and you go and practice. That's how you actually going to learn. 20% is from watching something, reading about something. 80% is practice.